Hello everyone. Could everyone hear me? So let's just wait like maybe 1 more minute for people to log in. So everyone can see my slides, right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay, I think I'll just start it. So thank you everyone to join our like the second online like the event today. So today I'm going to talk about like the career path for biomedical engineering peoples and how could we like find a job in the United States. So before I start, just still like first introduce myself in case if you don't familiar with me. So hi, I'm Jason, and I received my bachelor degree in chemical engineering and civil engineering from National Taiwan University in 2010, and then I moved to States and get my like the master degrees in biomedical engineering from Cornell University, and also my PhD in biological engineering from Cornell University as well. So after I received my PhD, I moved to Boston and joined like the Langer and Anderson groups and MIT and Boston Children's Hospital as a research fellows in 2018. And just like 2 months ago, I joined a biotech company called Modex Therapeutics as a senior scientist. So my research experience was covered like from like the nanoscale to the macro scales. For example, in the nanoscale, I doing a lot of like the nanoparticles for the drug delivery. And one of them is the most popular now is the lipid nanoparticle for RNA therapeutics. For example, the COVID vaccines from Pfizer or Moderna, they are all the lipid nanoparticles to deliver the mRNA for the COVID vaccines. In the micro scales, I'm doing some like the cell encapsulation for cell therapies. So for example, in type 1 diabetes patients, so usually what's their like the routine like treatment is people will inject themselves with the insulins, but how about like we just like culture and implant those like the pancreatic cells for these patients to respond to the blood glucose for them. And the macro device is another thing like what we are doing for the cell therapy and also for the controlled drug deliveries. So that's all my like background here. And I'm going to talk about like what's the like opportunities for the biomedical researchers or biomedical engineering peoples to find a job. So usually like if we are talking about like the bachelor degree or master degrees, that's a thing we can do. Usually people will stay in academia or in industries. In academia, it's something we can find out for the research assistant technicians. And usually this role is like help you to accumulate the experience in the wet lab or even the dry lab as well. So once you have like enough like the experience, you're ready to move to the industry. And for the PhD, like the people's, so postdoc, probably that's most of people will do after they receive their PhD. And why people are doing the postdocs? Usually, like when we receive the PhD training from no matter what kind of school, like the MIT, Harvard, Cornell, or even like the University of Washington, people always think about like you receive the training for the PhD program, but you are still not independently to conduct any research. So that's why like even like there's a postdoc not just in academia, also there's a postdoc position in the industry, because people think about like even you have a PhD, you need to have a postdoc experience so you can become like the independent contributors in no matter in the school or in the companies. And that's just another like the interesting like the career track. Staying in academia, it's like most of people after postdocs will look for faculties, but what faculties need to do is like write a lot of grants, do the teaching. So that's a kind of like the new career track is doing the research scientist at like the schools. For example, at MIT, after like 5 years of postdoc, usually MIT will ask like the PI to promote you as a research scientist. So research scientists can like independently to write a grant, do the research. Most of like the work is similar to faculties except the teachings. So the good things for the research scientists is they can just focus on the research. And at Harvard, it's similar. It's called a lecture, and so this the career opportunities if we want to stay in academia. In the industries, there's much more like the opportunities. So we can choose to join like the pharma, big pharma like Pfizer, Novartis, Merck, and also like if you are in the Boston area, there's also a lot of like the biotech here. For example, I'm joining the biotech company called Modex Therapeutics. It's a small company, but only focus on like one or two like platforms, and it's kind of like different like the lifestyle or working style compared to the big pharmas, but it's still like research based like the work in the biotech companies. And another like the opportunity is like some people will think about like doing the consulting jobs. So what consultants do is like similar as like helping the client to solve the problems. So usually like that's a general consultant job. That means like you're just trying to solve like any type of the problems like from the clients. Or in the consulting companies, they also have the specialties like consultants. For example, if I want to join the consulting companies, usually I probably will be like assigned to like the healthcare or biotech consultings. And another thing is like no matter in the biotech or pharma, if you have PhD, usually it's great because you can just keep promoting. But if you are in like the structures organizations like Pfizer's, sometimes there's some ceilings for like the bachelor degrees or master degrees. So when these people trying to like get promoting in the bench scientist like level of like the positions, so there's a ceiling for them. So another way they can do is like they can fight to get a promotions, or they can switch to the business development. And business development is I would say pretty fancy word for the current like industries. So BD will cover a lot of things. Like sometimes like sales is also part of the BD. The technology transfer is a part of BD job, and trying to like find the resource, that's also the BD jobs. So it's a little like the different things, but if you are from a science like field, or like you are from scientist to become like the kind of like BD persons, usually what people will do is like the most people will do probably the technology transfers. So in the big companies, they usually want to like license in like the other people's technologies. For example, at MIT, if our lab like invent a new like novel like technologies, and Pfizer want to like use this technology in their new drug, so they will ask the BD peoples and talk to MIT and pay for the right to use these technologies. So that's the license in like the job for the BD peoples. And the last I would think about is like some of my friend is doing like the legal things, for example, the patents. Because for the patent applications, they need a lot of like the attorneys, but they also need the people from like the science fields, so they can understand like what scientists doing and why this technology is the like the what's the novelty of these technologies, how we persuade and get the patents to protect our rights. So that's kind of like all like the opportunities we can have, no matter in the academia or in the industries. And how we find a job is like usually we have several like documents. So probably a lot of you have heard about like CV and resume. So what's the difference? Usually like the CV is like the whole your life will just put on the CV. That means like all your informations, your school, your oral publications, your skill set, and maybe like the reference. But the resume is like different. Like when you find a like submit for the job applications, usually they'll ask for the resumes. So CV you might have like 4 pages, 5 pages. That's a pretty long like the document. But if there's a resume, usually I would say like 1 page or 2 pages. So you need to select the information you want to show in this document and make sure like this resume is fit for these job applications. And some of the companies will ask for the cover letters. And why they need a cover letters? That means like usually you need to like show them why this company need to hire you. So in our CV or resume, we might still have no enough space to like express our strengths, like why we are the very like excellent, outstanding scientist for you, and we are like right fitting to these positions. So if they need more information, usually they can find all this in the cover letters. And if you are trying to like find the faculties, the rest of the documents for the faculty applications, usually it covers from like the research statement, teaching statement, and diversity statement. And research statement is like you want to propose to the committees like what kind of research you want to do when you become the faculties. Teaching statement is like what's your teaching philosophies to teach the course. And diversity statement is like what you plan to do to contribute to the diversities to the new school or department. And what's like the key components in a CV or resume? usually like we'll cover the educations, like the school ranking, GPA, your experience, if you have any work experience, if you have any lab experience, the skill sets means like if you know how to do the PCR, that's your professional skills. If you are enrolled into any like the like EHS safety, like the trainings, you might have the certificates, and also the like your publications. So if you are a scientist, you might have like several publications. This might also be like the interesting and important in your CV. And the last is the diversity thing, is like if anything you can do, because now no matter the school companies, they all sometimes they care about the diversity things. So you can write down like what kind of things you have been contribute, like the volunteers or like the kind of different things you have done to contribute to the diversity. And how to prepare for the good CV or good resume? I would say because all the hiring managers, HR, they don't have like tons of time to go through the whole CV or resume. So I will highly suggest like anything important, just put into the top rows. So for example, like if you are fresh graduate, so you don't have like a lot of like the work experience you can show to the HR. So what they are looking for, they were looking for your school. So just put the school on the top and also highlight the school or any GPA if they are like carrying the GPA, just put the GPA on it and highlight it. So the HR or hiring manager don't have to like keep like looking for the information in your CVs. And then try to summarize your work in the quantitative ways, because if you can just put some numbers in it, just you will help the people to think about like, okay, what's the contribution you have in this work. So it will be a better way to show them like in the quantitative way. So this is like my examples of my CVs here. That's when I apply for the faculty job. I'll just put the education, my research experience, teaching experience. So anything like I think that's a like importance, I just put into the top of the the CVs here. And what's the key paragraph for the cover letters? It's like the same thing, like you need to put on like the first is abstract. So abstract is the important part to show them like if you don't have enough time, just abstracts should be the whole summaries for your cover letters. And you need to show them what's your motivations, why you want to apply for this job, and what's your experience and expectations for these positions. And the last is also the similar thing is the summaries. And the same thing as the cover letters is like more importance to put into the top and try to highlight everything like you want to emphasize. And another like the important thing is like do the research on the company or the school you want to apply for the job. For example, if this company is working on like the antibodies, you need to know more like who found this company, these biotech companies, and what's their strengths and how you combine their strengths and your expertise and make the huge the contributions. And also like you can also put into your like future career goal to in your cover letters, try to like show them like what kind of like the person you are, what's your like ambitions for your like the career. And the last is using the simple sentence. So no matter like the HR or the hiring managers, they are not like studying English. So just use simple sentence so they can easy to read. That's the better thing. And this is examples. Like when I apply for the faculties, I use this calculator to demonstrate like my interest in these positions and why I'm fitting to this role. And all these like the examples, I will just share my slide with you after this like event, so you will see it after. So the final thing is like the summary for like the tips for job hunting is like always just seeking for help from the recruiters or your friends like referrals. So it's really helpful. So if you have friends in any like biotech companies and they already know there's the openings, so they can just refer to you and transfer your like the CV or resume to the hiring managers. So you will fast track the whole process and try to use your alumni network. Oh, that's a typo, that's a network. So alumni network is like if you find this for example, Pfizer, you are interested to working with Pfizer's, you can try to use the LinkedIn to find out like if there's any like alumni at Pfizer's and try to connect with them. Since you are all graduated from the same schools, usually alumni will help you to like get into the company and also get this job. And the last thing is like career centers. Sometimes career center is pretty useful. They can help you to editing your cover letters, your resumes. So if you're still in a school, that's probably the pretty good like the resource you can have like in the school to find a career center to help you to do all these documents editing. Okay, so I just very quickly to go through like my slide to show like what's kind of like the career we can have and how we find a job. So I'll just go to the Q&A sections here. So first question is like, what should I highlight on my resume to stand out from other applicants? Is applying directly through the career portal the best way to get noticed by recruiters? Or should I utilize the LinkedIn or other networking application to talk to the recruiters? So what should I highlight on my resumes? I would say like you need to highlight to fit into the job descriptions. For example, if they are looking for protein engineering peoples and you have the protein engineering experience, you should highlight this part so you'll be like stand out from other like the applicants. And also because the HR and or hiring managers, they're trying to find out like the keywords for them. So if they have like 100 like resumes, that's the one thing they can do to try to like select from the 100 of the resumes if they can catch the keywords. And as I just mentioned like in the last slide, I would say the best way is like using the recruiters, because a lot of the small biotech companies, they work with recruiters. So they're like career portals is not like well like established. So the fast ways like the recruiter can just.
Hey Jason.
Yep.
Sorry, I can see your slide.
You cannot see my slide.
Yes, it didn't move. Oh, it's here. Thank you.
Oh. So the same thing is like if recruiter has your like a CV, they can just email the CV to the hiring managers and they can promote you in front of the hiring managers. And another thing is like your friends. If you have any friends like working in the companies, they can just help you to give the hiring managers your resume. And this will be really helpful. Okay. And second question is, what major do you recommend for pre-med students? What extracurricular activities should I be looking for as a freshman? To be honest, I'm not pretty sure about like what major I should recommend. I will recommend to choose the fundamental science, like the department or majors, because it will help you to build up all your like scientific like the backgrounds. And extracurricular activities. Maybe if you are interested in the medical research, you can try to look for the like any lab opportunities as a like interns or undergrads, like the co-op in the like the lab or in the biotech companies. And also like I remember like some people told me like to apply for the medical schools, volunteer experience also very important. So maybe those like the activities you should look for. And third questions, what are your strategies to search for industry job release in the market? I would say like the now internet is like very like really good resource. You can find a lot of like the job opening positions on the internet, and LinkedIn is also a pretty good resource to find a job. But I would say like a lot of positions won't be released into the market very quickly. So recruiters, they always gather like the first information. And also if you have any friends in the companies, they will also have the first very fresh like informations. So I would say like try to talk to the recruiters or your friends, and at least let your friends know you are looking for a job. So if they have any like openings, any like information about the job, they will notice you. The fourth question, 声音工程方面，许多 web lab 的实验的技术和生科生技系非常像。这样业界求职时，声音工程专家能凸显什么样的优势吗？其实所有的东西应该技术都是一样的，比如说生物生技里面要做可能 PCR、qPCR， 做一些signal pathway 的 study 啊，其实都差不多。那声音工程大概我们的优势大概是，比如像现在现在 mRNA 的 lipid nanoparticle 非常的 popular。那很多所谓的 Biomedical Engineering 的人能做的事情，就是我们可以做材料的开发，然后化工的人我们可以做所谓的 formulation 的，就是 optimization 的部分。这些大概就是可以拿工程的背景、工程的技术，把它应用在所谓的生物上面、生物上面。所以这大概是所谓就是声音工程的优势。Next question， 正在迷茫要去念双硕还是直接过去那边实习，目前没有读博的打算，也好奇读完双硕会比较好找工作吗？通常我的朋友，如果你在台湾已经有一个硕士，你想再出来念一个硕士的话，通常那个目的都是为了要就是 OPT 让你好在这里工作。所以你双硕士会不会比较好找工作？如果你是以签证的角度，你是需要签证的人的话呢，在这边念完第二个硕士可能会让你比较好找工作。但是如果你是说单纯只是你已经可能你是 green card holder， 或是你是美国 citizen， 可能就没有太大的差别。你第二个硕士会给你太多的找工作上面的帮助，除非你的就是第二个硕士把你的 resume 变得很突出，你可能发了就是一篇 Nature 或者一篇 Science， 然后你有可能很好的一个技术曾经在你第二个硕士的时候做出来，那或许这会有帮助。但是如果只单纯说2个硕士会比较好找工作，那应该是不会。Okay, next question. I would like to know what internship and job opportunities or pathways for biochemistry major for international students. Biochemistry, it depends on like what kind of like biochemistries you are working in. Like if you are doing the structural biologies, yeah, I think now it's like pretty popular. If you are doing synthetic chemistry, yeah, it's also pretty popular. So it really depends on like what kind of biochemistries you are working on. And internship and job opportunities, I think you can always find a lot of the biotech company or big pharma, like all have the opening for the internship or job opportunities. So I think that's pretty easy. You can just find these positions on their websites, and also or like just reach out to the recruiters. They might have like the more information for you. Okay, next question. 一直以来对生医相关的新创很有兴趣，不过硕士想留学的国家会是德国。想请问你会建议透过什么方式接触到美国这样的产业？那另外，请问如果以德国的学历去美国找生意相关工作，是会被认可吗？谢谢。我目前在美国的经验，其实在美国是相对还蛮排外的，就是你如果是，比如你是在台湾拿着最好的大学的学历，或是你是欧洲拿的学历，可是对于很多美国人来讲，他可能真的不会知道这些学校是什么，所以大部分的很多我知道的很多美国人，其实他们都会比较 prefer，就是在美国毕业的人。但还有另外一个原因是因为签证。你如果是直接从德国你要来到美国的话，签证就会是一个很大的一个问题。那除非你是这个公司不可被取代，他一定需要你来这边工作，他一定会去帮你弄签证。要不然对于美国公司来讲，他们会宁愿去找可能有 OPT 的国际学生，在美国有 OPT 可以使用的，就找他们来这边工作。所以会有一些困难，我会觉得。那如果你是要先来美国这边的学术界工作去拿签证的话，这或许会是比较有机会的一个方式。Next question， 请问您毕业后在学术界工作多久转到业界？想转的理由是什么？那我在Cornell拿到 PhD 之后，我就先在 MIT 做了大概3年半的，就是 postdoc， 然后才转去业界。那我转的理由是，某种程度其实是我一开始也有去找 academia 的 job， 就像是 faculty， 但是我发现现在整个 faculty 的环境跟我原来的想象已经完全不一样了。就是我还是很喜欢自己做很多的 research， 我想要真的，我说的之前所做的所有的 research 都是比较偏应用方面的，所以我想要做的是能真的应用在实际的，就是不管是生活上，或者未来可以变成一个这个 drug 是可以被 approve， 最后应用在病人身上的，这是我想要做的事情。但是当我去找 faculty 的时候，发现很多 faculty 可能需要花50% 的时间，30到50% 的时间在写 grant， 然后还要处理一些很多杂事，变得是做 research 的时间会减少很多，所以我后来就决定，既然这样子，我就是想去业界继续做我的 research。那请问你认为想去业界工作，在博士班应该培养什么样的特质比较具有优势呢？就像我前面讲的，业界有很多不同样的工作。如果你是说 bench scientist 的话，那我会建议你去 follow 现在不同就是 biotech 或是 pharma 的整个趋势，比如像2017年之后，AAV 就是变成一个非常 popular 的，就是一个研究的项目。然后你如果是在做 AAV，或者你跟 AAV 有任何一点相关，你就会很容易找到工作。可是，在当时，你如果是做 RNA 的，你可能会这么容易找到工作，因为那时候大家所有的药厂或是 biotech 就是投钱在 AAV gene therapy 上面。可是，在 COVID 之后，mRNA 就是 therapeutic 突然变得非常的 popular。然后我也是因为我很幸运，当我加入 MIT 的时候，我觉得 MIT 就是 mRNA 是一个未来的趋势，所以即使我当时被 assign 的 project 并不是做 mRNA， 我还是自己花我的时间去学这一块。那在我前阵子在找工作的时候，那这就是一个很大的优势，因为现在市场上就是在找做 mRNA 的人，所以我那时候2个礼拜我就超过就是28个就是 interview， 所以如果你是想要知道怎么样会具有优势的话呢，随时去注意现在的就是整个药厂或 biotech 上面的趋势，现在大家想要做什么，未来可能我想往哪个方向走，那你现在就要去为这做准备。那第三就是博士班的时候，如果做比较应用类的问题，有时候题目或是技术是不是对工作上有优势？对，如果你做的东西是很独特的一个技术，那可能不一定能够，因为公司要找的人是要找他们能够帮他们去 push 他们的 project、他们的 pipeline 的人，所以如果是一个非常特殊的技术，可能不会有太多优势，反而是如果很基础的一些生物的技术的东西，可能会帮助你，比如说他们可能需要找一个会做 protein engineering， 那最基本可能你的 Western blot 啊 cell culture 要会做啊，那这种反而基础这些技术你都熟的，就是说很多 molecular biology 上面的东西你很熟的，会让你比较容易找到工作，或是你做的应用类的题目是刚好跟现在的趋势有相关的，那你也会很容易找到工作。那这是大概我们目前收集到的问题。那你们如果有注意到，可能也看到我只是刚换了新的 logo， 然后如果所有的 information 都会在这个 QR code 里面，有兴趣的人大家可以就是去里面找我，不管是我的 blog 或是我的 fan page，都可以从里面去找到。